All right. Good morning, traders. Good morning, Sharon, Rod, Brian, J.A., Alan, CP, and everybody else here early in the morning at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your subscriptions. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at what happened on Friday. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 666, 635. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 made lower lows, lower highs, closing under bearish straps under their 17 EMAs. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute uptrend. Gold in a daily downtrend made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Silver made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish cross and under the 17 EMA. USO starts a new downtrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside bearish trap under the 17. UNG in a daily uptrend made an inside day. It's a lower high, higher low, closed over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. US dollar index remains in an uptrend, but still in the bear flag, and closed near 99.74 area. SPY max pain for today, 670, with a put to call ratio of about 1 put for each call that expires today. All right, let's take a look at the markets. By the way, all of these are in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. They got a little star next to them. They're building out a launch pad or bull flag from which to launch higher. All of these are in bearish downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they got a little star next to them, that means they're building out a platform from which to dip lower. All right, so these are in bear flags. These are in bull flags. If they got a star here, bear flags, star here, bull flags. Okay, so take a look at those if you want. All right, for SPY, let's take a look at the 10-minute chart on the SPY. Let's look at it over here from Friday's perspective. Obviously, 10-minute uptrend coming into the close right here, rallying up over VWAP, closing at the high of the day. Near the end of the day, whenever that happens, there's usually like a 70 to 90% chance price is going to gap up even higher in the overnight, or at least trade up in the overnight. And that's pretty much what we got this morning. If we pull this down, you can see we're all the way up here near the downtrend line. All right, so keep an eye on that downtrend line on the daily chart. All right, on the 2-hour chart, we got a 2-hour downtrend still intact on the 2-hour. Daily time frame, we got a hammer. All right, so we got lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap under the 17 EMA, still underneath the downtrend line. Bulls got a lot of work to do to get it up over that downtrend line. Like to see them break that. I don't know. That could happen if, maybe the government shutdown ends. I hear a lot of social media talk about it, but I'll wait and see what happens, okay? So I'm not going to get ahead of myself. So there's daily chart. Weekly, still in an uptrend. Obviously, you can see the green balls right here on the 17 EMA. You got price action candles, all right, riding on top of the 3 EMA. That's the yellow line. 3 EMA and price action candles riding over the 8 EMA. That's the white line. And, of course, the 17 is the green dots right there. We can see daylight between the 3 and the 8. So we've got ourselves, and they're pointed up. So we've got ourselves an uptrend there, okay, on SPY. Monthly chart, same deal, all right? Everything pointed up, 3 and the 8. Candles riding on top of the 3, 3 riding over the 8, 8 riding up over the 17. It's a nice monthly chart, nice weekly chart. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. No, we're going to take a look. Yeah, we'll look at QQQ. QQQ, monthly chart, same deal, uptrend. Weekly chart, same deal, uptrend. Got a little bearish engulfing here on both SPY and QQQ on the weekly chart right there. You can see. Take a look at SPY. See the bearish engulfing right there. All right, so we're back to the daily chart for QQQ. Again, just like the others, all of the Fab 5 lower highs, lower lows, closing under bearish traps under the 17 EMA. They're both up here in the middle of quadrant 4. That's still bullish for me. Currently, QQQ still in an uptrend, just not moving up. SPY currently in an uptrend, just not moving up. All right, IWM on the daily chart, lower high, lower low. Currently in a downtrend. They broke the low right here, so they're in a downtrend. Price action here on the daily chart, lower high, lower low, closing under the trap under the 17. All of the Fab 5 did the same thing, closing under the 17 and under the bearish trap. Diamond Dow, again, lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap. You can see there's a low. They made a lower low, so they're in a downtrend. Diamond Dow in a downtrend, okay, and IWM in a downtrend. Still bullish up there in the middle of quadrant 4, all the way up there near the top. Let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. You can see FNGU made the lower low. Here's a low. They made a lower low. They're now in a downtrend as well. So we got FNGU in a downtrend. We got IWM in a downtrend. And we got Diamond Dow all in downtrends. All of them are still up here in the middle of quadrant 4, still in bullish territory up here, okay? If we break major support, remember, for me, that's a big time deal breaker, all right? That's a change in character if they manage to break major support. Still not broken yet on FNGU. Let's take a look at our technicals, T2101. Yesterday we went down. When we were going down, the market breadth dipped a little bit different. Usually when we go down, the market breadth increases. All right, and when we went up, market breadth decreased as well. So no matter what, it seems like the market, people are stepping back from the market. Not as much participation on Friday with that huge dip down, okay, as there was the previous day before. T2122, even with the big dip down, all right, T2122, we find ourselves on Friday putting in a petite higher low here, okay, and then a higher high, winding up, closing up here at the midpoint. Huge rally there for the bulls, bringing us all the way back up here to the midpoint. Can they stick us up here into the buyer's chop zone? We closed up there. Can they hold it up there is the next question, and can they make a higher high over here? We've got a higher high right there. I want to see a higher high from last week right there. So looking for the higher high for November there on T2122. We'll see if they can dig it out. T2123, 15-minute chart, still in a downtrend. We don't break the downtrend until the bulls rally up here and make a higher high. So we're still stuck in the downtrend. Bottom of quadrant 1, that's bearish right there. Bottom of quadrant. Here's the all-time high. Here's the pullback low. We made a lower low, so still in a downtrend on the 15. Rally back to the downtrend line. Still caught underneath the 200 SMA. Again, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. All right. Price action, a little bit different yesterday. We filled a bearish gap. Got a bearish gap down, and the bulls came back at the end of the day and filled the bearish gap. That's a good sign. But then again, I mean, when you're this far down, they really didn't set the bar too high for the bulls, to fill a bullish gap, a bearish gap down. So I'm not gonna get all excited about it. Okay, when we start filling gaps up here, up here, all right, that's something to pay attention to. But in this pullback down here, I mean, this was what probably the lowest gap there was, so no big deal, all right. But it could be a sign of things to come. Maybe the bulls are ready to stage a rally back up to the highs. We'll see. T2123, T2123 3-bar chart, still down at the bottom of quadrant 4. All right, remember we fall out of the upper third here, and guess what? No longer bullish. We'll see what happens. We made a low, we got a lower low, so we're still in a downtrend on the 3-bar chart. And here's the all-time high. Here's a pullback from the all-time high, sticking us all the way here at the bottom of quadrant 4. Can we hold on to quadrant 4? We'll see on the 15-minute chart. Bulls staged a rally, as you can see right here, coming back to the downtrend line. We need them to cross it. We need them to hold higher ground. We need them to cross the 200 SMA. We need them to hold higher ground. None of that's happening yet, all right? So we're getting a challenge of the downtrend line this morning, all right, for SPY, but we'll see what happens with T2123 when the market opens up. FNGU, price action, bearish gap down, bulls filled the gap. Again, it was just barely hanging on, okay? This is major support, this quadruple bottom down here. So we'll see what happens. Price staging a rally off of the support area, okay? This is the best place. You see the bulls stepping in right here. So it'd be nice. I'd be interested in picking up some calls. If the bulls can keep this uptrend going, transition that 15-minute uptrend into an hourly uptrend, hopefully a 2-hour uptrend. We'll see what happens. I do like what I see right now. Consolidation over prior consolidation. That's a bullish environment. Only problem is we've got so much space right here that they could need to pull back, pick up some spinach, and then make another run at it. We'll see what happens, all right, for FNGU and SPY. All right, let's take a look at the economic package. And I'm trying to find out where it is. There it is. I get a little brain dust for a minute there. SPY max pain for today, 670. Put the call ratio, 1 put for each call that expires today. Main event is CPI, but when the government reopens, if they reopen, we could see a lot of that delayed data that was never given to us from the weeks earlier. So we'll see. CPI so far is the main event this week, 8:30 on Thursday. Nothing happening today, nothing happening tomorrow. We got NFIB Small Business Optimism Index. Wednesday, really, just a bunch of Fed speakers. Who knows what they're going to say. MBA mortgage applications is 7. I don't even see a petroleum report here. I guess they stacked it over here. Where's the gas report? And they moved the gas report out. I guess they got a holiday. That's right. There is a holiday tomorrow. The bond market's closed, but the stock market is open. All right, so the main event, CPI, tomorrow. All right, not tomorrow, Thursday. All right, the 13th. All right, CPI, 8:30. You'll want to be hedged for that one. And who knows when they're going to release a lot of that delayed data that was never released in the earlier weeks. All right, earnings for this week. Let's see what we got for big ones. All right, nothing here. Nothing that's going to be market moving right there. No market movers there. Familiar names, but nothing market moving. Okay, Tuesday. Familiar names, nothing market moving there. Wednesday, Cisco's going to report in the evening, 280 billion. That'll help out the sector. Not really market moving. They used to be market moving, but not anymore. 199 billion on Thursday. Walt Disney Corporation's going to report in the morning. Applied Materials 183 billion in the evening. Mitsubishi's they're gonna try to report. Mitsui Sumitomo Financial also gonna try to report. So all in all, some more familiar names: Mitsubishi, Sumitomo, but nothing really market moving. They'll definitely help out their sectors. Friday, who do we got? Sony. Again, we get these dashes over here. That means they don't even know if they got their P&L put together or they haven't compiled their financials yet. So, not good signs when they haven't got those financials compiled yet. So, again, really light week as far as earnings go. Let's take a look at the dollar. The dollar is still in the bear flag. Still in the uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs, running into a little resistance right here. So they closed yesterday or last night, 99.74. Let's take a look at, let's go over here. Let's take a look at game plans. Start off with SPY. All right, SPY on the 15-minute. Okay, green erases red on SPY over 671. Pivot 666.35. Red erases green underneath 662. We're up here at the downtrend line. You can see right here. All right, so we're trying to, cross the downtrend line. SPY game plan, I like 4 days till expiration, 11 days till expiration. Friday options. On the multiple of 5, I trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. On these, I trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. Those are quick in and outs. All right. As soon as the trend ends, I get out and roll it out. Okay. Don't stay in it all day long. Because remember, these are out of the money. They're probably going to expire at 0. So all we're in them for is just the move up. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. If a downtrend happens to manifest up here, okay, or up here between the pivot and the green line, all right, or in here over the red line, between the red line and the pivot, I am not opposed to trading downtrends that happen to manifest up here, here, or here, long before it gets to the red erases green entry. Why? I just need it to break the 10-minute bearish rubber band candle, okay? So I don't have to wait till I get red erases green all the way down here, which happens to be about 15, 16 points away. We're never even going to get there if I happen to get a downtrend, okay? So doesn't mean all downtrends are off the table. I'm just saying I just need it to break the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle. Same thing goes for uptrends that happen to manifest over here, here, or here, long before the green erases red entry. Okay, I will look for, again, and it will have to break the 10-minute bullish rubber band candle. Okay, so there's the game plan for me for today on SPY. We're going to go look at the pre-market just a minute. I'm going to go over QQQ. Green erases red over 610, pivot 604.75, red erases green underneath 610.50. Again, same options. I trade 4 days and 11 days till expiration options on the multiple of 5 for the open interest, specifically for the open interest, not the delta, not the gamma, specifically for the open interest and the liquidity, okay? I trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. Means I have to strip my profits quickly. Okay, so as soon as the trend ends, like on the 5-minute, the 10-minute, need to get out because these tend to expire worthless at 0, unless of course they happen to have a big move in the day where we go like 2 standard deviations and we wind up closing and making a 10-point move. All right, that's about the only time they will expire in the money. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. I like my favorite chart, my favorite pattern, my favorite setup is, get ready for it, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that resides inside 2-hour uptrend, that resides inside daily uptrend, that resides inside the weekly uptrend, that resides inside the monthly uptrend, and it all over that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP is over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That is the ultimate setup. That is my most favorite trade. Okay, for me, I've got all of the bigger time frames supporting my little 10-minute uptrend. Okay, that is my favorite all-time trade. Okay, so we could get that today. We'll see. You can see here is the all-time high anchored VWAP for QQQ. All right, let's go take a look at SPY. Okay, and let's put the all-time high anchored VWAP on SPY. Actually, we'll put it right here. Okay, so you can see it's right near the downtrend line. Okay, so all-time high anchored VWAP. Want to get up over that? Are we over it? Let's see. Let's just, not quite, but we're close right there. Okay, all the way up there, up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. So there's SPY. Okay, so look at the pre-market. And look at what we got here. See the all-time high anchored VWAP right there? That purple line. Okay, this is our downtrend line right here, the green one. Okay, we are consolidating underneath this downtrend line and the all-time high anchored VWAP. That means we're not bouncing away from it. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign. We have consolidation over prior consolidation. The only problem is we've got a huge gap here, $5 gap in between. Okay, so it might be normal to pull back to, see the support over here, this hump. We got the higher high, so it might be a natural to pull back to this support, see if that's going to hold. If that does not, we have to look for support, which we may find at the pivot, or we may find at this breakup low anchored VWAP right there. Okay, so located right about there, 668. Okay, looking for the support to materialize somewhere here at 671, 673.50, right on that hump right there. That'd be a little bit of my intraday minor support. Looking for that to hold. All right, if that doesn't, then they're coming down to the consolidation right here. But we have consolidation over prior consolidation, so we're going to trade the breakout of the consolidation. So we're going to zoom in. This goes for QQQ as well in the pre-market. We're going to slap a line right in here. Okay, we're going to slap another line right up here. Okay, so we'll trade the breakout. All right, it's normal for them to come down here and spike this one and go up there and spike that one. Okay, bear in mind, okay, we have a downtrend line and an all-time high anchored VWAP right up here. I don't know how far the upside move is going to go. It will be interesting, okay? So we've got all-time high anchored VWAP. We've got downtrend line, all right? And then we've got, let's just put a line up here, a little bit of resistance right about there, 680.74. Okay, so that's probably going to be the ceiling for today, 680.74. I don't see them breaking that. If they do, it's like game on for the bulls. Okay, if they break that and close up here or consolidate up here, that's super bullish. All right, you could find ourselves, start to melt back up and challenge those all-time highs. That would be super bullish if we got up over that. I would say we're probably going to get as high as 679.73. All right, I imagine I'd like to see us spike that and maybe put in a rubber band candle to this number, not to the VWAP, to this line right here. You can see we've got a triple bottom here, another bottom there, and then a top there. This would be resistance right through here. So they're allowed to spike it and give us that 10-minute rubber band candle up there. But if they break that, that's going to be looking real good for the bulls. Okay, so 679.73 right there. See where this consolidation meets. You get some a peak right there, a little valley right there, another valley right into that number right there, another valley there, another valley there. All right. Stefan 610.50 is under 604.75. Stefan says, so he must be talking about QQQ. 610 up here, 604. Red erases green. This is a bad number. Thank you, Stefan. It is 598.95. Just going to call it 599. Because we're probably not even going to see it today. Thank you, Stefan. Okay. Happy birthday to the Marines. It's the Commandant's Ball today. All right. Should be some happy Marines tonight. All right. That's it for me. All right. For right now. Okay. I'll be back in 45 minutes or so. We'll open up the market.